Sure.
Idam Guru Ratnam Mandala Kamniriyataya Amen.
Ai, tá. 아, 지난주 망고지 딱 하고 거리니 kunzu kashi 사와도 낭바기 낭바 낭베 추디 아니 실람 되부 시제 실람 대송나라 아니 디시게 부여레스라
Varil, a lot of you may have heard, but for those that are new, when we talk about Buddhism or Buddha Dharma, we can talk about it in context of the basis, path, and result.
제가 실라 싱어베네지 아 람드베르바 드부지베르바 스타 디시게 요로라
So, the basis being reality and how the path manifests in the result in terms of cause and effect, the order of them.
다 싱어베네지 셰연디 아니 딜레야다 디중은서 네 디 가서래 다 팅두게 직당 저 뒤메이나 아니 낭베게 따룹스로 낭베 생관레바 아니 쟁어레바 아니 다 수수공감레바로 아니 단다 데 신이리바 로 참마리바
Naril.
아니 투그남샤셰야다 아니 타과되단다 디 가서래 직된 차주도죠 시기요로
And from the, working with that basis of reality, we can look at, from the perspective of Buddha Dharma, Buddhist science, Buddhist philosophy, the study of psychology and also Buddhist biology of forms, and then there's also valid cognition. Then we can look at things like the notion of time and how the universe came to be.
다 드링 어서 주시디나라 저 저디 계금 경월이고 다 따르니디 저 차대요 덴제스 덴중세야 될로
Yeah. So here today, in terms of dependent arising, we are looking at the reality, but also the philosophical view, those modes of reasoning,
경월이고
biology.
경월이고 시기요로
Mm.
다디 경월이고 다 다른 쇼병도 검자인 봐
Yeah.
규성당 다디 대제 띵사로 당을 봐 삼마 띵사로 또이나 규딜라 당고 먼저 매도를 삼당 매도 규 딘데질라 되네 총을 딱 콜라 남배에 중에 년년 규당 현지적인세 규제니 체거로 년년세에 매도 선데 제규마용 예처로 대당 알아서 이 팀상게 이 체릭 다제체네 아니 매도 선 춘주디 마음바 매도 첨부 따거지 연구를 수시 딘데 연구를 아니 대제 접색도로
Yeah.
그래서 배 야구쇼도 하면서 대저릭도 들어 아니 거기 년년기 규대 누가 가지지 요레스 매도 첨부 가지 책을레스 딘데 연구를 이제 선 춘주디가 대세 제가 내 슈구들 자식도로
Yeah.
그래서 배 미시 야구래 대저릭도 정도 수수 삼년나라 코트위나 배변도 좀 봐. 한다드네 매도게 자 추단 류단 트다 어디도 저리도 들라 아니 현지 체계에서 규딜라 니치네 예len 규단 현지 체계에서 대제니치 체도고요 레스로
So we touched on that this morning in terms of physiology of us, our bodies, the dependent arising in that sense. So if we go a bit deeper and think on the cause of things, we can see how, for example, taking our flower, there's like a direct substantial cause of the flower, but also there's cooperative conditions that acts as a subsidiary cause. So if we take the direct cause of the flower, the seed being the primary cause, from that small seed, a big flower can come into being. So it's good that we can actually reflect on that. But also in terms of the second set, cooperative conditions, the flower needs water, fertilizer, and so forth as a cause as well. So these two sets of the direct substantial cause and the cooperative conditions, it's good to know.
다디네 뭐란도 류를 검자이마 당기
Yeah.
당기 류 검자이마 나 류딜에 년len주다 현지시 예스니 여러 아니 년len주디 야야야 나 파마게 쿠다차로 여러 다 제네틱 세도 차용으로
Yeah.
년len 팜 예가는 류를 차고다 나 류 아니 되게 현지시 연데 이거지 칼라사야 류제데 아니 구야 다 두두 상마 류 쳐야게 현지시 연로 이
Yeah.
요마구나 류디 냠도다 칼라야 오마스나나 디체우다 류제 오마스나나 류라네나도 담을 용데 다 간다 두두 상마 그게 류게네 주동야당 와 네 칼라사야다 주동야다 자동야다 고배동야다
Yeah.
두두 상마 네 류게 쳐야게 현지지진에 대해서
But we can also look at the body, as we did this morning, but with regards to those two causes, the direct substantial cause and the cooperative conditions. So we can look at the body's direct cause in terms of the coming from the parent sperm and ovum, some might say genetics, tracing it back. But the second set of cooperative conditions that sustain the body, we need food, exercise, sleep, these conditions, that second set, for it to be sustained. And indeed, if they are not balanced, we can get sick. For example, if the diet is off or we don't sleep enough. But to sustain our bodies, we need water, tea, coffee, right? All of that.
아유, 어딘데 여기다. 아, 근데 다 쌤게 단다 지 동해라는 디기나래. 다 델레스 야 년len주다 현지시 니 용거라. 더스다. 마데 삼로 띵서로 당구다. 네. 배낭한저 쌤 결혼도 망보지라. 안도 망보지. 게다 데 이모션라데 디시비시기도 알아. 카야면 데 초 강의 직체 초 숙천보질리도 디 당지 지모도 버지네 디 강의 되게어라. 근 미창말라. 창말라다. 야 신의 그네제 공 그네제 통보말레니 그다 미창말라. 이모션 강의 요 캬브다. 로. 도사요 말다. 디날 탈사요 말다. 지상다 디 아니 간의 정도로 그 년len주 가르도 현지시 가르도 저도 삼다나 년len세데 뭐신세데 초로 내가르게 sem기 중 아마 샤워 sem기 중 아마 샤워 년len주데 sem기 중 아마 샤워 달 현지시 젠들라 아니 미게 책두자 라워 다워 땅 미게 다 불링 제와 땅 아니 컴피티션 당 아니 페피샤 따따 아니 다 동에 가서 파마빈자 카트해봤다 다 유딜 현지시니 다 맨다여라
Yeah.
근데 나라 수수 밀레파 직독자 라바다 수수 밀레파 네버 제바다 도저여다 디나라 주제 만차 도저 숙천보여라 근데 나라다 수수 랑진진진야다 아니 나제 숙천보치야다 어두서 상화 딘데디 이모션 게다 현지시기는 리기여라 도저 셴베이나 근데 용어서 지금 모션 소화스도 직 도와지대 람상 도도로 US or 상당한데 타코마 규진로 상당이나 쉬지 여든 요거
Along.
디제디 상로 스타면은 규진 망고 쉬지를 때네 중대어를 미지
Yeah.
그래서 곰잠네 수수다 녀여도네 심바지로
Ladu. Now, if we start to look at the mind then in terms of the feelings we experience or the sufferings, or experiences of good and negative circumstances and feelings, we can also look at the direct cause and the cooperative condition behind those as well. And that's important because we're always talking about emotions and how we suffer as a result of these very strong feelings. And if there's not some degree of control over the mind, we get into grief And it is a reality that until we reach a stable level of mind or shamatha, we're going to be at the behest of those feelings and emotions, no choice. So then it's good to think, what is the source? What is the direct source of those feelings and emotions? And then lastly, what is the cooperative condition? Well, the direct source of those feelings is a prior moment of mind consciousness. And the conditions that allow those feelings to be strong or emotions are if someone says something bad to you with speech, or there's bullying, there's competition, there's peer pressure. Yet another condition could be having to separate from parents, children and parents separating, condition for emotions. Then if we really keep checking up, we can come back to the fact that we self-fixate. We have a lot of self-cherishing. And these act as the cooperative conditions for the emotions we experience. Now, it's very good if we do this reflection and come to know the source of these feelings and emotions, because rather than thinking that the emotion we're experiencing is an isolated, solid thing, in and of its own right, we start to see, oh, it has causes, it has conditions, so many causes and conditions behind the feelings and emotions we're going through. And this is very good because one can do it through one's own meditative experience. Yeah, so let's meditate again. Yeah, so firstly, again, watching the breath so the mind is in a state of ease.
Nilensi din zegi jundu ni de lenlensi yore.
Yeah.
Ani lenji chi yesna kola genchi ni din ze jun ma yamba chi genchi ni de la lenji chi ni gi jusi go tango nilen da lenji chi yin de shena ani medo ge judi nilen re dil lenji chi yin su su yawa che go da adus tango medo la samno danje komde skafsh astus.
First, reflecting on the flower. What is the direct cause of it? What is the cooperative condition behind the flower? The direct cause, we talk about the direct substantial cause. And then in terms of the cooperative cause, it is really the conditions that allow the flower come to be. So it's good to clearly demarcate the two.
Tadi ne dangina yin su su lu la ta jirwa. Ani lu di nilen gi ju khare lenji chi ni khare ze jun lu ni de la. Ta chedan di pame kudar wa da. Pame kudar di nganzo lu gi ta nilen gi ze jun rwa chedan. Ani lenji chi yin de ani ti chi kala sa ya dang, chudung ya dang, ta ni ku ya dang, tu lo khwan ya dang. Ta nganzo gi lega chi ya mangbo shivu chi lu so ya chi di shivu yin zang, ani lu gi lenji chi yin gyu cha rukor da. Lega legung nang gi lega chi ya di lu gi lenji chi yin kharsa na legung nang lega chi wa di pesha chi di chigi yorwa.
Yeah.
Ani pesha ka chi gore, ani kala nyo gorwa, tu lo nyo gorwa. Ani di khare su li pen gorsa na lu li pen gi yorwa da. Chi zang legung nang lega chi ya di zo lu gi lenji chi yin cha gu yor da. Shivu di du sam dan ya dwa dan, du yawa chi.
Now reflecting again on our bodies, the direct cause or substantial cause of our body being the sperm and ovum of the parents, father and mother, and then the cooperative conditions, the second cause, that we have to feed it, take water, sleep, clothes, and in even that sense of sustaining the body, if we work, do a particular job in an office or whatever, to get money to sustain the body, because we need to eat and we need to clothe it, that's also cooperative condition.
Da di samu dandan di gane nganzo tujun tangyong gu samu tinte tangcho gu yoro. Heza nganzo mi changme lu gu dushi di nyelen ju dan lenji chi yin yin li dine chungwa di jikbar bata. Negab desi chik subo chi chung dan, ane chik pudan pomo dan, ane pakwa kawo dan nagwa dan, trasi bo dan mawa nagwa yewa chewa chewa juru meshi chigi. Dushi di nyelen ju dan lenji chi yin dhuwa di la yawa mendo. Nganzo tante chane ya tangyong gu samu tanya dhuwa dhuwa simche mi tamche nganzo. Tante chane da chikbu chik yare samdi simdi yawa chaya mewa soya dhuwa tante gane rwa.
in this context, it is very good for us to think with a lack of discrimination. There's no border on equanimity because all of our bodies have a direct cause and a cooperative condition, and all beings are equal in that regard. Okay, so there are slight differences if the body is female or male, black and white, but from the point of view of the foundation of our being, all beings are the same. There is a substantial and a cooperative cause. No border.
다 디네마 삼다제 당기나시 아니 셈기 디두글라 삼다제 대화이나레 동해이나 되게 대화이나 대외게 아니 규디 예랭 주하래 만 장난제 단다 이모션도 저기 아니 예랭 규디 페지 꿀롱 차원이 서셔다 꿀롱 저러와 꿀롱디 아니 아슈처 칭제 근데 소양을 해야 다시 줄베 내걸라네 소화디 소화 숙청모 매워 숙청 근데 소화 숙체 중세도 군노 숙체 중세도 견라를 내가 열어 견데 숙청부 유도네 직동에 강에 8월 미리 깨져 두고 시에거든 아니 배 누숙 낭매 쇼지 닝제가 상로 전에 매워더네 내가 제윤디 되게 쇼지 내용도 아니 셈나라 닝제다 펜심 유나 페조게 액션 데데 뇌야 이네 대전그 프로덕트야 돼 총하다 가지고 이제 장가라네 네가 견 가져 현지체 얘기 견데 가져 숙쳐요 장게 약에 저거 견데 숙쳐요나 대화도 숙쳐요 뭐로 되게 봐 아니 도게 견데 숙쳐요인데 아니 동해리 숙쳐요 거다 어디에 되다 총을 그나는 가라서 용단 용심 버리게 뒤에 하고 스타딩 일랜데레 진지지 알렌지지인들 숙치 좀 담면데 실지 요된요 뒤에 되다 뭐는 주인다 그래서 시고야 되다 개좀 쳐야 돼요 그래서
So the mind, it's bliss or lack of it, happiness, unhappiness. If it is a blissful mind, a happy one, what is the direct cause of it? Oftentimes, when we talk about the feelings like this or emotions, a lot comes from the motivation. And the motivation dictates the strength of feeling, be it strong or weak, and also the conditions that are around you dictate that suffering as well. For example, often if these days people have like a harmful intent, or the motivation is not good, with aggression lacking in compassion, then the result is not so good, even in the family or in society, from the intentional point of view, motivation. But then sometimes an action could be a little bit harmful, but if the underlying motive is one of loving kindness and great compassion, the result is less harm, less bad. So what's very important to remember here is this level of the cooperative conditions being positive to reduce the suffering. And in this life's experience, we should be able to recognize our feelings, the direct cause behind them, but also how, in terms of the cooperative conditions, those feelings become very strong or less so. To know that is important.
왜 다들 곰디스 잡셔라
Please meditate on that a bit.
다들 수수 냠냠 여러 전환들라디 이모션인데 중요 여러 봐
Yeah.
다른 쪽에 계산도와 중요는 쇠바 여러 아니 하고 배열해 근데 세부 차로 그러 되면은 아니 둔당어마 나옹어마 롱어마 된들라 심나게 배 초와 타고든데 레뇨에 중나 뒤에 내가 그리야 삼무시단제네 일년주 가르다 현지시 주 가르다 수수 같이 시에버지 봐 삼무단도 비나 아니 네 빼면서 누가 전부 열었어
So one can meditate according to one's own experience of one's feelings. Could have been that you had to be patient this morning with something, to bear it. Anyway, evoke those feelings from the past that you've had, or emotions in the past that you've had as strong, and just analyze. Okay, so what was the direct cause of it? What was the cooperative condition? And then one is able to recognize through one's experience the lack of well-being or well-being.
어야 다딜 땡중세야디 땡네 총 줄라 땡네 드부 총 왔어 아니 딜라야 다 땡중딜라 타라 망부지 요래로 차셰를 땡베 땡중 아 민간 다여선 유 땡중 줄라 땡네 드부 총에 땡중 땡중딜라 타라 숨치고 라과디 단당하도 줄라 땡네 드부 총한테 다 딜레 나시 망부용 요래 딩간저 라과임베 줌쟁 갈라나 줄라드네 드부 총한테 가서 무슨 용도다 무슨
Yeah.
하고다 당연히 가서 매달 삼다임바 아 스스 룰 삼다임바 싱도 하고라
Mm-hmm.
응 아니 되네 스스 이 이모션들 삼다임바 저 주진 칼라칸자 가서 싱도 하라
Yeah.
그래서 그 주든데질네 되거든 데 말한서 알레신다 셔부 자주 뭐 삼다마잖아 이마지 삼바 상보제 밀라 편도 제고 당연히 되는 안 대간은 매제 한복 제등이 드링 이마데 한보지 가나다 매제 심볼 가서 뭐 냠중지 가나
Yeah, yeah.
계긴 삼로된 레스탄다 디니마데 수수기와 수수구역기와 여러 다 니마지 나지면은 수진 있다 예 신기였어 아니 I know 진짜 랍제 도로 아니 아니 베데 라진지데야 숙정부제 아니 밀레 낭메 땅으로 식두자 랍 근데 지기도 안 하고 사는 아니 근데 쇼베 내가블라 아니 가리용 것도 다다 마주용 것도
Yeah.
다라래다 세부 쉬우다 되라
Yeah.
띵녀야 하고다 라과에 미 줌젠데라고 무슨 녀야도네 귤레네 되부치원 하고 오다다
Dependent arising from causes, results come, cause and result. And this has different levels. That things are made up of parts is one level. That things exist as mere designations, dependently designated, is another level. And then there's the level of cause and effect. This third one, the level of cause and effect, is perhaps the grosser, in the sense that the cause and effect we can directly see, like you can directly see a flower from a seed in our bodies through our experiences, but also the first level of our emotions in terms of cause and result. So you don't have to go really, really deeply into this dependent arising just to motivate with a warm heart, and in the context of this life, try to be humble, simple, and think just this day, I'll do my best to be warm and simple and humble. And if that is the case, the result is that you are good and the surrounds are good. Conversely, if you have this attitude that I know, that kind of pride coming from cherishing yourself, you can tend to look down on other, and then as a result of saying something a little bit harsh, you see the result that people get upset. That's so clear that basically is it on the gross level.
That Junde said the Mama in the day, Jashambush diary.
Yeah.
Did Handanganzo, Rakwat is on your Shingido. Reaching on the Jumzena, then she will some shen to Ayomare. Pena Jumzen Karishing as Nani, Pena Mayor to Ayo Shingido on the Rigan. Reading the model gate in the model of Shingido, Chugi gay on the Chilo Chugi gay Kuda. Be to be your single person, to be most Tumumandara, to be gay going out of it to be yours. The Jumzena then the Shingidogo.
The workings of cause and effect are extremely vast, the growth of which some of we've just mentioned we can see. But there are those things that we cannot see, and we have to recourse to reason. We can think that because there's smoke on a hill, there's fire. Or when we hear in the distance the sound of a car, we can think there's a car there. Or by hearing the bird sing, we know birds are there, so we're using reasons.
Any Ma Junde Namsha Rikchi Monzo Jumzing done shitway Yomara. Tapena Nge Katuina something that Dangera, Penangaranza than the dinner on Zombastua.
Yeah.
And it that somebody was somebody that Penakizaki do Cabrata, Imeda, and the Cheval dinner on the Zombara, the Shingido, Eugene, and the dinner on the Zombadi Shingido. That day, Javla Junjo. I want to know around the Tanda de Ruche Zom. Tiring Nimadimdo de Zom, this is Tindegil Zom, and it tended to talk with Chur, Magic Shagache, Magic Gurgache.
Yeah.
And Charanza de Nien Chiadi. Gujem Mangoji, the Jawa Mango Mangola, Joy the Yoji Chadi or Tizurik does on the Jumzel de Neshi to Ayo Marilla, Noeto ne to Ayo Maresra.
And then there are times when even we cannot connect with the reasons, the cause and effect. And it helps me to think on this example, that the fact that we are all gathered here in this meeting, in this course, we know that it is the advertisements and emails that went out that kind of was one of the things behind it. But what is behind even that? To go deeper, the fact that today, in terms of dependent arising, I teach the interprets, and you all listening, that level of cause and effect. Oh, there would be so many causes from past lives that go into that we can't really see, and also it's difficult to directly reason and experience those causes as well.
Pena, around the Jizin and Shireva, but the Dedra.
Yeah.
The Noya Shen Yomare, Jumzin and it, Jumzigo Yomare. The Misheni Jilla Yiji Chejera, Membero, Narsto, Suzu Pamado, Jilla Yiji Chen, De, Chirampati de Dire Laude, and on the Yiji Dire in the Redera.
Yeah.
Conzo Shingi or Russian, Tena Shin on the 렌데 남셔 타지타와 준데 남셔 타지타와데 산제기 내제 시야가 딜랑도 산제세고 대시인데 근데 송샹교들라 먼저 이지치기요로 어디 도난 타마데 이직도네 신도애들이 이지 제자대야 배조대 미디에다 천대지 거에도 개점을 하지 어디 인도 딜레양 미세 줌젠데 참고요로
If we take the example of our birthdays, do we have a reason to know that our birthdays are our birthdays, or even experientially, personally? No, we have to rely on the nurse, the parents, and believe them about the date that they know. So some levels of cause and result are so subtle that we have to recourse to someone that knows, that is a valid source, for example, the Buddha, who knows out of experience and speaks. And then somehow we have to have the conviction that that is a valid being, a valid source. No.
제산다 준대기 된존세데 마 삼무다요나 준대기 된존디 텔라테네 아니 낭베 연아저 레스니 셰기도
Yeah.
딜리기 왔다 레스 딜리드니 리기 왔다
So when you really go into this teaching of cause and effect or dependent arising from the perspective of Buddha Dharma, then we come to karma, behavioral cause and effect.
다들 제일 되와 레고도 되어질 레용으로서
So talking about karma will come later in the course.
다들 양저 곰디스 계긴다 다로 단다 다르 곰카르 자고래라나 다당긴 건저 이모션 간 샤샤봐 안데 수수 동해 쇼지 강해 쇼 예더버지 야 상노다나리 야메나 수수데 내주 가오 대오 쇼지 유네 가두 카르상나 다니르나 저랑저 담나리 그래가 지 수수베데 베 대오 디지 쇼지 예된 저지 내갑지 상다나리 그래 야 셈나라 동해라 마지오 쇼 예더버지 회사가니도 준 디야 상다나리 그래 야 시베체로 가두 카르이나 찍외서는 디래 다디 간에디네 중도스 삼당 땅으로 다디 간에 중도스 다디야 삼당디 차다 와 차과
Yeah.
차과 사야 가서는 찍래 쉬우지 김제 삼당제 가 데데 수수 중로에서나 삼 찍래 김제 마디버지 삼당제 띵알라 마요로잖아 띵알라 고야면도 삼 여와치지로 띵아 가거도 작당 여와치기도 봐. 이 당고 뒤에 심버지. 다 뒤에 가네 용거도 서봐. 다뒤 말하면서 뒤 여러 다 상말로 있디. 가도 가래네. 단당한저 가도 영화 상말. 차단 가노지 응어스 되네. 중대했다 간다. 봐. 차단 가노지 응어스 되네. 먼저 그 저와 이모션도 중원데 세고 쉬어져라다. 다 뒤니 가네 중도 상다. 다들 곰자야 되래. 곰 당보디 그래서 가도 가래 나한테 쉬어셔. 다디 간의 정도 상당한데 차단 가로질래 되는 중간에 세고 쉬어지래. 다 차단 가로데 간의 정도 상당한데 다디 잡들래 간의 정도 상당다 마 상로시 땅에 말아오지. 이게 랍데는 저런저 어딘데 라고도 디 가리는선 저런저 그 상당 상 까셔라. 차단이 중간에 하세고 코스나 디 간의 정도 어디 다른 상당에 대해서
Meditating as we did before on cause and effect of feelings and emotions. If you can think of a difficult time you had or a suffering experience, bring that to mind. Yet others, if it's blissful and joyful, whatever directly comes to mind is fine, whether it's a blissful time or suffering time you had. Just think on that, bring it to mind and think, how did it come to be? And if we really think on the source behind it, it is these two minds of desirous attachment and aversion, the fact that you wanted something you got, or that you didn't want to get something you did. So recognizing these two, desires, attachment, and aversion, is very important because we all have it. And in a way, we are a product of those two minds. The reality is that our emotions come from those two minds, desires, attachment, and aversion. So then think, what is the source of these two afflictions of desire, attachment, and aversion? What is the source of them? To which I would not answer, can you come to a clear reflection on that? That would be good.
야, 우중 곰데스자. 아니 양도 세다 간달라고는 신지 곰잡샤스라.
Yeah, so then please begin with the breathing meditation to still the mind and then go into that reflection.
that's gadu khare nyonji ya samudanshasra.
Remember, recognizing whatever pleasurable or non-pleasurable experience, just focus on that.
다디 규카르르네 충도 상다.
What's the cause behind that experience?
근데 세봉의 송문은 야양자 우주 곰잡 somebody 말을려서요. 야양자 곰잡 그랬어.
If you don't have clarity around recognizing that emotion, go back to the breathing exercise, relax the mind, then again reflect.
다 자단 하는데 규카르르네 충도 쓰지. 어디 상나야고 당쇼스다.
Going back to what was the cause behind the experience? What's the source? reflect on that.
Oh yeah, that the ne samlo danje di gyujin gyu di dini gyong gyu khar ching yu me de ne chana zo chila. Tonde chudu yi di chega la ne tuwa tina de gire rwa. Di tuwa di shugu kana ti ji shashi de yagudo.
Yeah.
Ta jezan di chadang la di chagwa saya di da rang la gawe gyunzin rwa. Susu chi gawa dang, susu la gogo yawa dang. Ane chi da dirwa da chi gogo yawe nambara wachi shagi yawa nga rangzo. Susu mezena la gogo yawe sawashi. Yang sangsa la susu sungjob chigi yawe nambara washi. De doja de dindero wachi redo wago. De zan di chi doja de hajang panga wuchaya de karasana. Manzo sem di pe di susu la rogwa chigi yawe nambara washi shagi yawa inza. Susu rogwa chi nidi misui na lo dang marara. De jane doja panga wuchaya gyumze dinde redo wada.
So now, if there are questions around those causes and conditions and the source of it, please write them down, tracing the source back behind those emotions. 2:30, we will go into that. Now, yeah, so those two are desirous attachment and aversion, and we will go into that in the afternoon. But looking at the two of desirous attachment and aversion, the first one, desirous attachment, is because we have likes and wants that we reason, with reasons we think we want something or we like it with regards to the appearances in this life, and or we want to protect something. And this is a very difficult to abandon because it appears to our minds as if these desires are helping us, and you never want to give up someone that you think is helping you, right? So very difficult to relinquish desirous attachment. Yeah, but really the desirous attachment is not a support to you. Its nature from the outset is dissatisfaction and suffering. The aversion or hatred is the thought to harm, whether it's harming self or other or the environment, so all sorts of problems ensue from that intent. Right, so what we're recognizing is that behind these emotions we're experiencing as a kind of support are these two, the desirous attachment and aversion. But behind those two disturbing thought obscurations, again, there is a support, a basis. That we need to know.
안간저 셈게 삼로 당당 삼로 당당 따당데 베디 유루거다 디주이나
Okay.
딘데게 삼로메나 아니 틱스 만디부터 아 디마서 미지직직 제어서 람사 바로벌어야 두두두도 다든다 곰디 자외인데 뭐네잖아 다 단도야 곰띵 사우로 도웨이나 야 제로 도여로 두두도스나나 아니 삼로 당기게 삼로 당당데 마인 부수도 보다 마인 봐 삼로 빼 자신 뭐 차려야죠 근데 동의 강의도 용거랑 가서 가르치는 거라서 뭐 류디 레 뇨몰라데 레다 뇨몰라데 주코랑 뇨몰 주코랑 마시와질레 중사도 데부디 마시와 영화 임바래요. 따지 예외 간라 카시에 그 더블 트리플 서셔고 야 봐. 아니 이모션 라마근 게디 용거다. 그 예외디 자정아 예나 아니 자정압주 카시에 다 자다 마서래네. 디제도 되네. 로마메 위치 아니 베디 독살에 미 파르베 소제고요. 수수 소제야 돼. 근데 샤르에 가서나 셈게 써야 돼. 치다다. 텔레겐 소제다. 안디 라기고 온다. zan di tanda de chomden de sun je de namsha de ye shen de gyachimbo sim de gyachimbo cha de ngado samno tanda de petada de gyuro de an ngado ti dungye gyachang nga yo nga khoran sha gre me nga de ju so ma de gya so ngab ji so ma ra ti ma se na sim gi jidan gom gya ni nyamlen chi ni mongbo je je la 강에 다 dungye chung yo gyumzen ta ra re da de re da
So recognizing then that these emotions of desire and hatred in turn have cause and conditions. And, doing the meditation that we recognize that is seeing the reality as the reality. We have to recognize a thing as a thing, so to speak. So recognizing the reality as a reality, with our Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, recognized dissatisfaction, but he went deeper, recognizing that there's a cause and condition behind the dissatisfaction. And when one comes to know this, then the mind becomes extremely fast. Because with that knowledge, it is a mind that undergoes change. It is a view that undergoes change. With us, what tends to happen is someone gets on our case, we get upset, and we point the finger outwardly. But with experience through meditation, the mind becomes less pushy. It becomes like vast and open. Oh, of course, in this life, difficulties will come. That is just the nature. That is just the nature. But the problem is we fixate on those difficulties so that what might have been a 50% fault, we add another 50. Yeah, we superimpose more onto it. So then 100% it has become our issue. And in an extreme case, because it's become 100%, we might want to kill or harm others. Really, this is mind-made, nothing more. So Buddha looked at that in an extremely vast way and just showed that to us that it's a mental attitude that has to change. So when things, for people with meditative experience or yogis or meditators, when they see external difficult circumstances, 10%, whatever, they leave it at that. There's no additional overlay there. So what? Yeah, so because there's no addition from the mind, then the mind suffers less as a result. Yeah, there's no addition, there's no add-on, sorry.
And that 직태보다 소화 겸보색으로 하다. 소화 겸보색에 sensitivity 매우 차로.
아, 네.
신경도 배 sensitive 차로다. 툭 채우다가 뻥.
And then one is not at the behest of external conditions. Slight thing wrong and you're so upset. sensitive, blown up. It's not like that if you meditate. Yeah, so when you understand the law of dependent arising, what undergoes change is the way your mind sees. We'll dedicate now.
Page 31 in the orange book with a short mandala.
Sangye Shingdu Mite Uwa Ye Trokun Nanda Shingla Chopa Sho Guru